my loves, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm Raveena Singh. In today's video, I'm going to do another huge room declutter. I dedicated the better part of this week to completely cleaning out and reorganizing my dad's study. This was actually my gift to him for Father's Day this year, and I thought I would take the opportunity to film the process and share it with you all. Let me show you what we started with. As you can see, my dad has this really nice room with a large desk and lots of storage space. But over the years, things like papers and documents, stationery, office supplies, and tech things have really piled up. He's been managing as best he can, but I wanted this space to be at its optimal again and to be a functioning, welcoming space for him. So the first thing to do when decluttering any room is, of course, to take everything down. The whole family pitched in for this one. So you can see Paul is removing the computer and the printer, and my son is helping me to roll up the carpet and take it outside to clean. I have also set up these 4 large baskets to sort of categorize everything as we start to detox this space. I started with the drawers where my dad keeps his office and craft supplies, but I found a lot of other things in them too. Aside from his pens, pencils, and stationery, I found batteries, coins, loose papers, and stamps. In the second drawer, he had some old passports lying around, as well as a deck of playing cards and a bunch of old keys. My son helped with the last drawer, and he found a box of nails and screws, among other tools, as well as lots of odds and ends. There is really nothing specific I can identify that these drawers have been designated for. Then I started on emptying out the cupboards. Using these old plastic bins, I started to group like items into some broad categories. We have office supplies, tools and items for home repairs, and craft supplies, tech and electronics, and things that were still in boxes, either old and sentimental or new and unopened. As you can see, my dad is very sentimental about his things and finds it difficult to part with them. While I did that, my kids worked on some paper items. We had to dedicate an entire part of the room for his papers. This included everything from reams of printing and colored paper to old documents to non-fiction books, notebooks, and folders. My son's law books are also lying here on these shelves, so Paul helped me to take those down as well. My father has a lot of his old company documents carefully organized in these files, along with a collection of stamps. These are his own collection, my brother's and my collection, which we left at home when we moved away. It was really wonderful to go through some of these things, as there are lots of keepsakes and gems hidden among the clutter. But first, everything had to come down off the shelves and put into piles so that I could separate the real clutter from the good stuff mixed in. Once everything was taken down, the decluttering really began. I started going through everything, basket by basket, pile by pile. We found boxes full of old papers, which were partly documents, which my dad would need to go through, as well as scrap paper that can ideally be recycled. I consulted my dad on all his personal papers and documents, and we went through them together to see what we could pare down. I took the opportunity at this point to explain to him my concept of CLEANAGE. CLEANAGE is exactly as it sounds. It is a system I have devised for age-guided elimination of one's things. This means that according to what stage someone is in their life and what that means to them personally and how it reflects in their life is what they base their decluttering on. So for example, my dad has just turned 80. He is a retired businessman who is not looking to start a new business at this age. So he should ideally remove business-related items that are no longer serving his lifestyle. This includes shredding or destroying old documents and donating unused ledgers and bill books. That said, anything that is sentimental to my dad is a definite keepsake, as the goal is not to make someone feel life has passed them by, but instead to surround them with things which serve them and bring them happiness. If you want your own CLEANAGE consultation, feel free to drop me an email. My email address is in the description box below. Now, he is very particular about shredding paper with private information, so I left him to do that while I continued to declutter. I also created a few piles on this cart. I have printer paper on the top and I'm putting a whole stack of unused ledgers and journals here. He actually makes these little notebooks using scrap paper and envelopes, which of course are a real keeper. Next was electronics. We found enough electronics to open a spare part shop. There were some old keyboards, mice, and a computer monitor, which was no longer working. It took a while to look through all these wires and the old devices to decide if any of them were still serving a function. We set aside things to be given to a spare part dealer in one basket and threw out the things which were too broken or obsolete. And mixed up with the second basket of electronics were things like old locks, door hinges, and some old night lights as well. And some of them still work. We even found an old floppy disk reader, which my son has never seen in his life. The next category we tackled was office supplies. My daughter and I are dividing our work, further sorting them into smaller categories and checking to see what was still working and what was needed. She's going to dig out all the miscellaneous items, and I will work on testing and sorting the pens and the pencils. I tested all the pens and threw out the ones that were broken or dried up. My daughter found 9 staplers, and so we decided that half of them could go in the donation pile. And here's the pile we have discarded. For now, I'm going to put these sorted stacks into an organizer. There is still so much to sort through. The next box is full of miscellaneous items. There's a power drill, red packing tape, and some craft letters of the alphabet. My dad's hobby since he retired is to create handmade cards for the family members and for his friends. That's why he has these crafting supplies. He is really amazing at papercraft and at woodwork. Hallmark should definitely hire him as a designer. While cleaning, I was putting things away in this gray storage box, and I want to put this away safely. These are non-paper items my dad should look through, as only he can decide what's best. A very important step in decluttering is, of course, to clean all the surfaces before keeping things back. This is the perfect opportunity to clean all the shelves and the inside of the cabinets and drawers because they are completely empty. Some of the shelves are actually beginning to sag in the middle due to weight, and a simple tip for this is to simply flip the shelf over. This is a real money-saving hack if you don't want to go out and buy new ones. Then we began to store some of the things in the new homes. There was absolutely no space to work and maneuver, so it made sense to put some things away to create some more space. All right, with that done, we're taking a short break. Okay, so back to work. And now with the guys' help, I'm getting all the items for donation and recycling out of the room. We are also taking things that belong to other parts of the house to their rightful places. This is the result of our decluttering. The mini adults are taking these items to the recycling bins downstairs, as well as putting the donation items in the car. Lastly, I'm taking the opportunity to vacuum the floor, which is now covered in dust and particles. Okay, so it's day 2 now. We did manage to clean the room out and put everything away, but I still wanted to further organize the drawers. I brought with me some Ziploc bags and some empty plastic bins. I tried a few orientations for the tech cables, but I finally decided that Ziploc would be my best option. I was able to get much more into the drawer using the more flexible organizing alternative. I did use one plastic box to store the smaller items. In the middle drawer, I used another plastic box for the assortment of tapes. In front, I have put a set of stencils, a box, and this pouch of car tools. In the top drawer, I used these dollar store dividers to create separate compartments for the different table instruments. I also added some additional books and a tad bit of decor. And now that I'm done, let's take a look. In this first drawer, I have organized all the office items that he would need for his work. In the second drawer is a pack of cards, the packing tapes, his handmade box with calligraphy nibs. This is from before the time when calligraphy pens became available. I love the fact that he has crafted this box for himself from scratch. And in the bottom drawer are all the tech cables and wires. As you can see, I have managed to fit a few more items in. Over here in these deep shelves, on the bottom shelf for easy reach are his books on spirituality and divinity, which he now enjoys reading. So those are right here. Since the shelves are actually very deep, I have put some framed pictures behind the books. These are mostly old family photos he hasn't displayed, but isn't ready to let go of either. These files here are also used regularly for home bills, repairs and utilities, personal insurances and stuff like that. So those need to be accessible too. On top of that, I have displayed this electric typewriter that went out of style years ago, but it's a great display piece. And at the extreme top, I have put some empty boxes. These are for his laptop, their iPads and iPhones. Here I have added Mum's favorite books. She likes to flick through them, so they are easily located here. And I put a plant on that I recently bought for them and for myself. This grey box holds items that I feel only Dad can deal with, including some of his father's things. Paul put all our son's law reference and textbooks into this overhead cabinet here. He is studying for an exam and likes using this room. He escapes me and doing chores by hiding out in here. So in these cabinets, which go all the way under the shelves, I have consolidated CDs, DVDs, cassettes, and also added a box of floppy disks he wanted to keep for sentimental reasons. I put the whole box right in the back as he hardly ever accesses these. And beside that, I have put his current files of his asset management things right in front for easy retrieval. And right here are the new ledgers and accounting journals that you saw me earlier put on the cart. He wants to pass on to someone starting out in business, but all in good time when he's ready to do it. In the next cabinet, I put away the briefcases which do contain some documents, but I have chosen not to open these. It's important to me that I in no way infringe my dad's privacy. These boxes are just some items my parents purchase online for the times when they need to have a gift handy. In the end cabinet, I kept all our stamp albums here on this side, and on the other side, I have kept all the photo albums. The photos date back to his college days, my parents' wedding, and baby photos of my brother and me. He also had some loose photos lying around and some smaller albums, so I went ahead and collected them all in a box for him. Now that they're organized, he can go through them whenever he wants. And to go with his stamps, he also has a large collection of first day covers. I just took them out of their plastic bag and filed them away in this old shoebox. None of my organizing solutions are expensive, as you can see. In fact, these are all things my parents already owned. Above all the albums, I have kept the reams of cartridge paper and color paper here together, so my dad can see what he has at a glance. Beside that, I'm keeping his exercise books and his handmade notebooks in another box. On the tabletop, I have created a workstation for him. His laptop, a night lamp, some pens and pencils, and I have also put a mouse pad under the faux plant, so in case he wants to use a mouse, it will be available to him. And on this side, I have a paper tray and 2 folders with some paperwork of something he's working on. These are just magazines and a tissue box holder. Under the table is his trusted shredder and a small waste paper basket. So my loves, this is my Father's Day gift to my dad. It was fun to do as a family, and I hope my dad enjoys his space. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I look forward to getting to know all of you better in our upcoming WhatsApp club. Until the next video, this is Raveena saying happy homemaking.